This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the very latest news and interviews from within the Big Red Machine.
Hello and welcome to Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Town Council-sponsored Billingham Stars, back with episode number 30. And to borrow from the two Ronnies, in a packed programme tonight, we've got guests galore, goals galore, points, records, you name it. There's plenty to talk about. And we're here with Carol and Jono. Evening to you both. How's things?
Evening. Yeah. Still mending.
Still mending?
Yeah.
Still champions?
Still champions.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the Deeside weekend in detail later on. We do have a couple of players to talk about as well who may have been doing remarkable things at the weekend. But we're going to kick off with a special guest we've been trying to get on for a couple of weeks. And it's somebody who's very much involved in hockey at all levels across the UK and has recently been doing fantastic work for our supporters club, which Jono is currently modelling and displaying and everything. He's very much on brand. We're delighted to welcome to Starcast from Crosscheck Clothing. It's Pete Weeks. Hi, Pete. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Thanks for jumping on. Great to have you with us. And as I said at the top there, recently you've been churning out some fantastic stuff for our supporters club. For people who don't know, and it's a terrible sin that they don't, but for people who don't know about Crosscheck, can you tell us a little bit about kind of your journey and how Crosscheck kind of came into being?
Yeah, it's been going much longer now than I ever thought it would. We started way back in 2012, and we started off doing just our own web store with our own hockey-inspired merchandise, and it sort of grew and took off from there. And over the years now, we've started doing more work with teams, both professional, semi-professional and rec teams from up in Scotland, way down south. And we also do flirt about with on-ice stuff as well, so jerseys, short covers, socks, all that kind of stuff as well. So we've gone from just being a basic merchandise shop to being sort of like the full kit, really.
Yeah. What was it that wanted to get you kind of into that? Because for like you say, 2012, it seems like you've always been there. But was it kind of, you noticed a gap in the market for that kind of your initial designs and things that you put out first? Yeah. Was it a gap that you noticed?
I think so, yeah. When we first started to get involved, there wasn't really very much out there other than sort of team merchandise. And then the next step really was to look at like the high-end hockey brands stuff. And there was nothing really in the middle that sort of said, I'm an ice hockey fan, really. And we kind of like thought, well, maybe it's something that we could look at doing and just start with some basic lines. And we had like 3 or 4 T-shirts and a few bits of accessories. And it started off slowly, very slowly, but we kept at it and carried on. And, you know, thankfully, a lot of people, a lot of clubs and a lot of loyal people helped us and pushed it, and we got to where we are now.
Yeah. When was it? When was it you kind of first saw your designs and things on fans, and you kind of realized you kind of made it, sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it must have been like maybe it's the 2014 playoffs in the Elite League, at the Elite League playoff weekend in Nottingham, and the shop in the arena had been stocking some of our stuff for a while, and we had a small stall that weekend as well, and we just sold a ridiculous amount of stuff, and all throughout the weekend people were saying about how they loved the stuff and where could they get more and what else did we have planned. And that was probably like one of the main turning points, really, where we really started to think, you know, wow, this isn't just a small thing. It's really starting to take over across a lot of teams and a lot of fans.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Carol, do you want to jump on?
I was actually going to ask what people have been asking you. Is like, you seem to come up with some really excellent designs, and certainly John again do some modelling. There we go. And the sockies, I've got a socky. I think they're amazing. But how would you constantly refresh those ideas and come up with new stuff?
I don't know, to be honest. A lot of people do say, "Oh, where do you get your ideas? What's your inspiration and stuff?" And it's just sort of like being in and around the hockey world. You know, sometimes I'll be at a game with some friends, and someone will say, "Oh, that's like the Enforcers Club or whatever," and then it'll be like, "Oh, Enforcer Club, that would be a good on a T-shirt." Or certainly a lot with like stuff that we've done in the past when we've worked with Great Britain ice hockey. A lot of that's from watching the games with my friends and having a few beers, and like, oh, maybe we should put that on back of a T-shirt, and we've just rolled with it. And don't get me wrong, some ideas that we've had over the years have been absolutely terrible, and we've been put in situations, charity giveaway boxes because they just wouldn't sell, or they go on sale rail for like a pittance. But a lot of the stuff it does do really well, thankfully. So I just don't know where it comes from a lot of time.
Jono?
It was pretty much my same question. So you've got me flawed there.
Yeah.
I know. We've had Kay, who's probably been doing your head in the last few weeks, and probably more of us, and Carol know where I'm coming from here. We don't like to get ahead of ourselves up north and in Billingham. So when we try to get designs for when we win the league, I mean, how do you go about helping teams who want to get league merch out there that they've won, yet the title isn't sorted up yet? Because it is a bit of a process.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably now maybe a couple of 3 weeks ago when I actually had to. We were running to get that property T-shirt that you've got there, and I actually ended up meeting Kay at Motorway Services to get her some stock because she was like, "We really need it." So we shot up there on a Saturday afternoon and met, and she was like, "Look, this is situation with Cup, this is situation with League. I don't want to go too far into it, but be aware that this might happen." And we have had it before. We in the Elite League with the Belfast Giants, who we've done merchandise for before as well. And it literally is, as soon as that trophy's lifted, a whole network of people basically go to work. And you'll know yourselves, the fans can be there celebrating and chugging a few beers and enjoying the moment, but behind the scenes it's just almost like another day at the office in some respects. And you're there, you're ordering your stock, you're finishing designs. We'd already sort of preempted some designs that we had, and Kay had an idea or two of her own as well, so we sort of merged them together. And within a day or whatever of the trophy being lifted, we were good to go with the design.
Yeah, on the back of that, I know the latest one that you just done for us, that was designed by I think it was a car full of us, wasn't it, Carol? It was you, my other half. It was literally done in a car on the way to Solihull with it. And if this gets done, we need to be ready to go now. What can we do? What can we do that no one else has got, but reminds everyone of last year and then tells everyone of now? And it was a missus who found the design and then just making those quick few changes to make it our own stamp. And it's crazy where these ideas do come along.
Yeah. I mean, the property T-shirt that you've got on there, that's become a little bit of a calling card for us. And literally every sort of team that we've had any sort of working relationship with over the last 12 years, we've pretty much done one of them for every team. So if you're ever in area and you ever want to come down to Crosscheck office, we actually have literally a wall of fame, which is every single team that we've done. We've got one of those on the wall, and it spreads right along the far wall and right round the corner and back along. And that's, obviously the latest edition is yourselves. And, there's also, Elite League teams as Great Britain in there. There's absolutely loads of them. So we enjoy doing them because it's great merchandise for clubs, but also it gives us some decoration down at Crosscheck HQ as well.
This time of year, obviously, you've got your kind of pre-season stuff where teams are getting ready for things. Do you notice a spike at the end of the season when you've got things like this, like teams winning trophies? So they want championship T-shirts, they want some sort of celebration T-shirts, playoff T-shirts. So is it kind of the season kind of peaks and troughs like that?
Yeah. We're quite lucky, really, because we do work with a lot of very creative people as well, who are responsible for merchandise at their own teams as well. And, there's so many different theme nights as well now. So you often get T-shirts at start of season that clubs want to stock. And then later on, they might be wanting something that's maybe Halloween inspired. And then it's something Christmas inspired. And then it's maybe something Valentine's Day inspired. Yeah. And then when you get to end of season and you do think, they're not going to really want any more stock merchandise now, then you get into your winners T-shirts and playoff T-shirts and all that kind of thing. So it really has become an all year round process. When we first started, we thought, this will be lovely. We'll be busy September to April, and then when the off season's on, we won't have anything to do. But it's actually completely not like that at all, and we're just busy 12 months of the year.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And I noticed you haven't. Well, you mentioned about refreshing designs and things. How often do you do, like you're having at the minute, like a clearance to get rid of stuff? Is it to make way for new lines, new designs? And I know you have your Black Friday stuffs and your famous like kind of rush designs like that. So do you target those for new designs and have ideas already for kind of campaigns ahead?
Yeah. So normally we we work at building up new lines for sort of November, then for the around this time of year when we've got a lot of merchandise events, and then usually again at start of season. So the sales usually do come in just before we're about to try and do something brand new, or if we've, like I said earlier, if we've done something and it's not turned out very well, then we try and get a sale going to try and push it out or something like that. But yeah, if sometimes we just do run out of space and it's like we've got to get rid of some stuff here because otherwise we're not going to have any more shelf space to put stuff on. So yeah, that was the sale that we've just done this weekend is basically because we've got a queue of new stuff ready to come in now for sort of the end of season and some events that we've got coming up.
Yeah, very good. Carol, Jonathan, anything else from your side?
The only thing from me is we've got 3 more trophies to win, so stay by the phone.
Yeah, well, we'll be doing a merchandise stall at the Steel City Showdown event in Sheffield.
There's another one.
So yeah, we'll be there at that. So it'll be good to hopefully see plenty of Billingham fans repping those T-shirts and the new ones as well, and the sockies as well.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's been brilliant. And I know we've got something in the summer as well, Peter. When you're on about the peaks and troughs, the last few years you've also been part of the All Stars event, which is back in Cardiff this year. And that, I would imagine that's a fair bit of work with the designing and the jerseys and the merch and everything. Just keeps you ticking over nicely in the summer.
Yeah, it does. It keeps us very busy, and it's all for a fantastic cause as well. So that's always thoroughly enjoyable, and it's always great to go down to Cardiff or Sheffield, wherever it is, and watch that event unfold.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's been great to see the designs over the last couple of years. For those again who don't know, where can people find your online presence and if they want to check out your merch? And obviously we've got the Billingham stuff that we're selling, but your own designs and things if people want to have a browse.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely awesome if people head over to crosscheckclothing.co.uk, and we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the usual sort of places. So drop us a follow, drop us a message, come and see what we do. But if not, make sure you pick up your Stars merchandise.
Fantastic. Pete, appreciate your time this evening. Thanks for what you're doing with the All Stars and the Billingham Stars. All the Stars. And no doubt we'll see you in Sheffield, and we'll catch up soon. Pete, thank you very much.
Yeah. Good luck for the rest of the season, guys.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
And there he goes, Pete from Crosscheck. Great to have, give people an idea of the people behind what's going on. And John, you know, with the supporters club working with Pete really closely, getting the merch that we've had this year in particular. It's been great to have him on board.
Yeah, it's been an absolute godsend. I mean, this stuff. When we tell you we have new stuff coming, I mean, the thoughts. Carol probably is wondering what goes on half the time with the constant beeping and the messages in our group chat going, this idea, that idea, and Pete gets them turned around so fast. From an idea just written down to something that you can see on in a design, it's fantastic. Like we just give him words a lot of the time, and he'll come back with what about this, and then from that we can make one or two tinkers here and there, but on the whole, yeah, he's fantastic, and the turnaround is amazing. Like I say, we've got orders galore from Sunday's home game, and we'd only won the league a week. So from Sunday driving home to having design to having it ready to sell this weekend to hopefully maybe having them in time for next weekend is very impressive.
No, I know. See, I've known Pete a few years working with All Stars, and they do some amazing stuff for that charity as well. And some of their work, their own brand stuff is well worth people checking out. So have a look on crosscheckclothing.co.uk. And a big thank you again to Pete Weeks. So thanks to Pete Weeks from Crosscheck Clothing, and I say heartily recommend to visit crosscheckclothing.co.uk. Have a look at their own brand stuff, and obviously see Jono and the guys at the Supporters Club this weekend. But in terms of Billingham Stars, the guests keep on coming because on Sunday, not only was it another home win, another big win, but the records just kept on coming as well. And we have two record breakers. I feel a bit of Roy Castle coming on there. Two Roy.
One for the kids.
No, we'll not go singing. But two record breakers. Chris knows. Iain will not have a clue what we're talking about. Chris knows. Iain will not have a clue. But anyway, a big win, but some fantastic individual performances in amongst that team success. We have 100-point guys and a league record goal scorer. So welcome to Starcast. It's Iain Brown and it is Chris Sykes making a return to the show as well. Iain and Chris, thanks for joining us. How's things with you two this evening?
Good. You?
All good from us, yeah. Welcome back, Chris, as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me back again.
There's no other place to start really with yourself, Mr. Brown. If you remember when you rejoined us in the summer and we had a catch up before, I think it was before the first game. You said you had a chip on your shoulder and you had a point to prove. And I mean, hell, if this isn't proving a point, how would you describe this season from yourself?
Honestly, I don't know. I've lost words for it. I'd say incredible, but it just keeps getting better and better. So I'm lost for words for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new league record in terms of league goals. When did you start thinking about the record?
I think when it was like 50. I think it was at 50, to be honest with you. That's when it kind of set in where it's like, okay, 15 away. There was a certain amount of games. It was pretty doable, especially playing with these two, him and Mike. So,
yeah. No, and the way to do it on Sunday as well with the get the two goals and then the breakaway, kind of a nice solo moment there. 10 hat tricks as well. So you haven't just been chipping away. You've just been doing it in big numbers as well. Have you ever remembered a kind of a hot spell like that in your career before?
No, this is by far the biggest one I've ever had. So hopefully just to continue to ride it.
Cool. Jono, do you want to come in?
I mean, yeah. Obviously, we all were heartbroken. It's just as much as you were when you got injured last year. I know we won the league, and those celebrations aren't just the same when you're not on the ice with the boys. But what was the motivation to come back and go, not only are we going to win the league, we're going to win the cup. I'm going to show you guys I can score goals and absolutely blow everything out of the park. Because we've always had great goal scorers. I mean, one's on the screen with you now, but even then, to a point, you've kind of blitzed his records quite easily.
I mean, that's all due to him and Mike,
That's
to be
about him.
honest.
All right.
So, I mean, without them, I don't really put up 60, 67. So it's on them. But truthfully, I don't know. It was mostly just like when I went into the boards, like I wanted to prove more to myself and everybody, right? So it was, when it happened, it was a little upsetting, obviously. So it gave me the extra motivation just to want to come back and just do as well as I can. And yeah, it's worked so far. So hopefully to continue to ride on it.
Oh, it's worked. I would say it's worked. Yes, you haven't checked the stats. Yes, it's worked. Chris, bring you in at this point. Obviously, Iain's put a lot of tribute to yourself and Mikey as his line mates, feeding them the puck, and obviously records for yourself at the weekend as well. You and Iain both reaching 100 points in the league for the season. How has it been? I know we've talked a few times this year about the way everything just clicks for the three of it. How has it been on the ice when things just keep clicking that way?
Me and Mikey have played together for as long as I can remember, and it's one of them natural things. You know how you each other play without even having to say a word to each other, and you know if someone's annoyed or if someone's happy just by looking at them. And Ian's slotted right in where we needed him to be, and I think it shows leaps and bounds how far in front of certain other lines in this league that we can be when we're on as a game. And I think the stats don't lie. You can see goals and assists across all three of us. And Mikey's having a brilliant year as well. He might not be 100 points or anything like that, but he's still very, very close. And I think Mikey settles me and Iain down, and we get to do what we want to do because Mikey settles the player behind us. It's not often you see me down in our own end defending, so Mikey has to work out for that for us. But do you know what I mean? Mikey settles me and Iain down, and we know what Mikey's capable of. Mikey might not score goals, but that's what Ian's here for, and I think he's proven that this year. I keep telling Iain I'm not a goal scorer. I'm just here to dish the puck out, and that's all I ever do. So, it's good. It's playing together. It's been brilliant. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I hope it continues to keep coming like it is because it's very enjoyable to play with them too.
Yeah, and the way Sunday went as well. Obviously, we had to come from behind on Saturday in Deeside, but Deeside aren't a bad team. But then the way Sunday went, just to keep scoring and scoring and going, to put 14 on a team like that, and it wasn't kind of overkill in any way. It was the normal play, and that's just how it developed, and that's the kind of way Billingham have been, particularly this year, but certainly shares of last year as well, scoring goals in bunches and scoring goals, turning defense into attack very quickly. It's just been fun to watch. Obviously, it must be fun to play as well, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this year, I think we have some sort of like killer instinct this year. It's weird. If we last few years before, we've gone down 1 or 2 goals, and you can feel each other like, we might not get this back. But this year, there's none of that, and it just seems like no matter what the game's going or how the game's going, we know if we play the right way and play the right side of the puck, we'll win the games. And so far, it's going quite well.
Quite well.
Yeah. It's going quite well. Yeah.
I can't say it's going very well until we've finished the season.
Until we finish the job, exactly. Carol, bring you in on this if you want to talk to the guys. I know one of the stats that Ant mentioned, first 100-point play, I think, since Spike, and the first 100-point league since 92-93. So it's kind of truly setting new records.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware, but 92-93 was when Pat Lefebvre played, and he went on to play for Washington Capitals. So, just that small little NHL player. And he was small as well. I was actually going to just ask Iain if he appreciated the magnitude of the achievement of the goals record, because obviously Chris was part of the team when Jason Hewitt set the previous record, and that season was really odd because it was basically the teams from the league above had nowhere to play, so they played in our league and blitzed everybody, and it wasn't any fun for anybody apart from those guys, really. So Jason Hewitt set that record in a league where the top four were scoring goals for fun. And I just wondered if you appreciated just how fantastic it is to get the record against that backdrop.
Yeah, no, it's definitely special. I'll definitely never forget it. Obviously, it's like I said, words really couldn't describe it. It was just like in the heat of the moment. Like when I hit it, it was just kind of like a big weight off my shoulders, like, you know. But no, I definitely appreciate it. I know how hard it is to, I mean, even let alone probably score 10 sometimes in a league like this. So 60, 65, whatever it is, I'm super, super proud, obviously, of myself for doing that.
Great stuff.
Jono?
Yeah, mine was more towards Chris. Obviously, for years you've been the go-to guy for goal scoring, and we've had great guys, even like Dennis Bostrom. You've outscored him. So, how does it elevate your game knowing that you've got a guy like Iain just taking so much pressure off you to being the go-to guy, especially through those rough years that we had?
Yeah, I've always said personally, I always challenge myself. I always want to be top point scorer. It's kind of, even since a little young kid, I've always wanted to do it, and I'm an old man now, so Iain's taking the reins. He's been absolutely lights out this year, and we spoke, together and stuff. And the fact that what he's doing and the goals he's scoring and the way he's playing, I don't think anyone can say anything bad about him. The kid's lights out, like I say. So it does take some pressure off myself, but I also feel pressure now because I wanted to get Iain to where he wanted to get to. So every time I got the puck, I thought, I need to pass to Iain. So, it works out between us all, me, Mikey, and Iain. It works out between us. And I can honestly say, no matter who scores, whether it's me, Iain, or Mikey, we just want to win games, win trophies. And this year, the personal accolades that come along with it, obviously, is a massive bonus. Iain breaking records, both of us hitting 100 points. We've talked about these things. We want to get them, but, end of it all, we want to win some trophies for Billingham. And at this moment, we're doing quite well. And as I say, by the end of the season, hopefully we can say we've done very well. But yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Does winning the league and obviously having the cup in the bag already chasing these accolades, personal accolades, a little bit easier when the games aren't dead rubber because there's still a wins tally to be won. I think 33 wins going. But does it make it that little bit easier knowing that if something went wrong, it's not the end of the world because the league's already in the bag, sort of thing?
We've all, the lads have all spoke about the record of the league as well for the most wins and things, which is something we want to get. And being one game away, hopefully we can do that this weekend, which I don't see any other option. So 3 points this weekend again for us. Personal accolades for myself and Iain and others that might get them along the way is always a bonus. But them, like you said, dead rubber games or whatever you class them as, it's still like this weekend. We'd won the league, but me and Iain had something in the back of our minds where we needed to get to where we wanted to get to personally. But at the end of the day, getting 3 points for the Stars is what we need to do. But playing the way we play helps us get what we want and also get 3 points for the Stars. So hopefully, again, this weekend, we'll be pushing the puck in the net a few times, hopefully. I've got to score, I think 34 goals or something like that. I think I've got to get, and I'll top goal scorer. So.
What years you might get it?
Oh, she said it. She said it, boy. She said it. Oh. Something we've talked about a lot this season as well. We mentioned it with Fuzzy in his post game on Sunday. Has been the support from the fans as well, and particularly this weekend having the party bus down in Deeside with all the balloons and the banners and everything, and then having a pretty much a full house. With only a small travelling support, so that they were all home fans on Sunday for the first game in nearly a month. Having the fans on the journey with you from a couple of years ago. Obviously Ian's been there for a couple of years, but Chris, since we came back from the big pause, kind of bringing the fans along on that journey has been huge, and having the kind of relationship between the players and the fans. Everybody's kind of enjoying what's going on and off the ice.
Yeah, the lads all see it. We've said it many times. Billingham fans are brilliant. They follow us up and down the country, spending the money, and all the lads do appreciate it. But now the way things are going for us, and we're, you know, the fans have backed us all the time, and we're now rewarding them with trophies, is something that me and the lads all want to do, and obviously the fans all want us to win trophies. It's not just us; it's everyone, friends, family, girlfriends, everyone that's involved in the club. And winning trophies is the main thing, but the support's always been brilliant. It's always been there, up and down the country. You always got, you know, your main characters that are always coming to away games and stuff, and we do notice it. Sometimes, you know, we're playing in the game and things like that, but we do notice where the fans are and who turns up and how many people, and the balloons and the blow up trophies that we saw this weekend in Deeside. It's awesome to see. It really is awesome to see. And, you know, I've said it before, the fans, they are like your extra man here and there, and listening to the songs and what you sing and the chants and just the noise. It's good. And it's been, you know, a long time coming for these trophies, but I think now we're rewarding everyone that's involved with the club, which is obviously really, really nice for us all.
Yeah. Iain, how's it from your side?
Well, for me, I mean, like when I came, when I was playing back home, we didn't really get anything like that. So it was a huge jump to see a sold out form basically in your first game, and then I haven't looked back since. Every game basically we've gotten, it's just been a sellout crowd, and it wouldn't mean as much to, I don't think, any of us, to be honest with you, if we didn't have all you guys there. And like Chris said, it's like having the sixth man, you know what I mean? So we love the support, let it continue, and I hope that you keep getting some more trophies for you guys, because you guys clearly deserve it. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
True story.
Carol, anything from you?
I was just going to pick up on the support thing, and Iain, I know your mum follows from afar every game, and she's very positive in her support for you on social media. I mean, I guess you've spoken quite a bit with her in the last few days.
Yeah, no, I've definitely spoken to a lot of family, a lot of friends. My phone's been blowing up like crazy. So no, it's been really good to see a lot of people at home show me like support and love, and she's my main one. Without her, this wouldn't be possible. So I mean, I love her to death, and I'm looking forward to her to coming seeing me play, because it's been a long time for her. So I know she's looking forward to it too. So
yeah. I mean, we've already spent like all of our budget. We've already allocated it. She's buying these shirts, that shirt, caps.
Oh, I know.
Everything she's buying. So
crazy.
All the spending money's gone already.
Oh, I know. I get all the messages. I get all the updates of what's been bought. It's like the whole suitcase is going back with her, I bet.
Jono, from you?
I just can't thank you guys enough for the entertainment that you put on week after week, and especially just for it. Some places aren't easy to go. Solihull 2 weeks ago, it's not nice. It's horrible. It's dark. Don't even have gates on the doors, so you've got to jump over the boards, and you've got work on Monday morning for a lot of years. And I just, from the supporters club, from the fans, we just appreciate everything you do every weekend.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys as well. So thank you.
Anything to finish off from your side, Chris and Iain? Obviously, with one game of the regular season, they say there's still a couple of marks there to aim for, and then in the playoffs, and it's a brand new season, and I'm guessing a brand new challenge for another trophy to go for.
Yeah, definitely. Big weekend coming up, you know, against them guys up the road. We want to get 3 points against them, and then it's playoff time. And we'll start to lock in and get down to the nitty gritty stuff. But we're here to win trophies, and we want to win trophies, and hopefully we can get everything and take it all back to Billingham. So thank you for your support, everyone, for friends and family and everybody. Let's do it together.
Yeah, the exact same thing. Thank you guys for everything you guys do night in and night out. So we'll hopefully bring it back for you guys.
No, sounds good. And just one last request from me, Iain. I know you're an Ontario boy. I don't know if you're a Leafs fan or not, but you're not going to finish on 67, are you? Because that's not a good number.
No, we gotta beat that certain somebody, number 34 there. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do this weekend.
Nice one. Well, once again, many congratulations on the points, and Iain on the goals record. The goals highlights are just about done. It's taken like 3 days to edit all 19 goals from the game, so we'll get the goals out, and people can enjoy the goals and the records in real time again. Many congratulations, and we'll see you at the weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
And there we go, Chris and Iain from your Billingham Stars. Mad old game on Sunday, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You just didn't think the goals would keep coming, but they kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And and a good chat with the boys as well, Carol and John.
Yeah, very much so. And I think it was kind of nice to hear those guys reiterating what myself and John were saying after the Solihull game, and that things definitely feel different this year. And the guys don't seem to be that phased when they go a couple of goals down. I know we're going to get on to talk about Deeside, but when we went a couple of goals down at the end, by the end of the first on Saturday, I don't think anybody was mighty bothered in terms of, are we going to lose? That thought didn't really enter anybody's heads, I don't think. So it's nice to hear them say pretty much the same thing from the player side. Is they're not really that mindset hasn't appeared at all this season, which is really good to know, especially since when we're talking about the games being dead rubbers, we were losing those dead rubbers at the end of last year. I don't know if everybody remembers that, but we were. We lost the Deeside, weirdly enough. We lost to Hull. We lost to Solihull. We were losing those dead rubbers. This year, blowing people away.
Yeah. No, it is noticeable. It's hashtag this year is different. John, you mentioned some of the goal scorers we've had in Billingham, even since the Stars came back to the forum in 2011. Some of the goal scorers we've had, and Chris was the one, and this year Iain's just taken it to another level.
Yeah. I was just thinking there while you were both talking, like there was a group of fans just a couple of years ago very worried about where Finn Braden's goals were going to come from. I think he scored 35 goals a year. He left us. He was 16, 17-year-old. And we were like, how are we going to replace these? They just don't exist. They just don't exist. And then here we go, 67 goals later in one season. But yeah, I mean, Sykes is an absolute legend of this club now. We always call him adopted, but I think I saw something from Scott Ward this week saying not a chance. He's been here long enough now to be a full-time Deeside lad. Sykes, you might not want that. He might be. I know he's got Sheffield at his heart, but from the Stars' point of view, he is Billingham through and through. And he was the go-to guy in those hard years when we were playing those, like Peterborough. I think we played Sheffield, we played Telford Tigers 1, and those hard games, and he's reaping his rewards now. And yeah, he might not be that number one guy putting the puck in the net, but he's certainly the reason why that number one guy is putting the puck in the net.
Yeah, and we haven't done a stat check on the all-time stats since he moved into second place, but it's been noticeable pretty much every game. Sykes is putting in multiple points. So we jokingly said it's going to take him X long to get to 1,083. Is it?
I think he said he had to play 7 years, but you would need a goal scorer like Iain with him.
Yeah. But he's been putting the points up, say, even since he got the record to move into second place on his own. He's been putting up multiple points, multi-point games. And last night was just ridiculous. It was like 1 goal and 6 assists because of course you're 7 short. Of course, why don't you just get all 7 points in one game? I mean, it's just what you do, isn't it? But yeah, no, thanks to Chris and to Iain for jumping on. We'll leave the guests there. I think we've had enough guests for today. Let's start the show, shall we? Episode 30 of your official Billingham Stars podcast. So cross-check clothing, tick. Iain Brown, Chris Sykes, tick. We'll talk about the Deeside games. Carol and John were there in North Wales, and obviously we were all there on Sunday. The results and tables, including a look at a final day decider in the South Division as well, to see who Billingham were likely to face in Coventry. Look at the regular season finale. Obviously, Stars with just 1 game left. We'll have a look at the permutations and see what's left for the NIHL North Division 1, and then any other business with a save the date coming as well in your any other business, as well as Jono selling cross-check clothing to anybody who will listen. So 2 games, a double header with Deeside home and away. The party bus went to North Wales on Saturday, and it was a long-awaited return to the forum on Sunday. We'll go through the stats. We'll do the Saturday game first because Sunday's stats will take a while to get through. So Saturday, it was Deeside 2, Billingham 6. Deeside goals from Parry and Parsons. Your Billingham goals from Grittans, 2 for Brown, 2 for Elder, and 1 for Callum Wilkinson. Shots were 44-40 in favour of the Dragons, and Jacob Hammond was in net. First of all, Jono, the party bus. We've seen some of the photos. A fantastic effort getting everybody down there, and obviously some other travellers as well. And that huge corner of the arena was all Billingham on Saturday.
Yeah, it was just an absolute fantastic finish. I mean, the bus was originally planned on because a few of us kind of worked out thinking that would probably be the game that the Stars would win the league. Obviously, results went our way. It was won earlier, and that's the moment we just turned it into one big, huge party, helped by Jacob's special birthday as well. Helped him celebrate that. But yeah, it was just a time to celebrate our league title. Didn't really do it that well last year. I think it was more nerves, and thank God we got over the line last year. But this time we've dominated. It's rightfully ours. No one can put any question marks on it. And it was just a great trip. The bus was lively. A few drinks were had. Blown up inflatable trophies, blown up balloons. It was just a fantastic trip from start to finish.
Yeah. And eventually the result came good, but it didn't start well. Carol, and a Deeside team roller coaster probably doesn't even begin to describe how their season's been, but they kind of took their chances in the first and jumped out to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I genuinely think it was just a case of they took their chances and we didn't, to be honest. Not sure I trust those shots on goal stats either, but I definitely don't trust the Sunday ones when we get onto that.
The Sunday ones means if they are right in the third period, they conceded 4 goals on 10 shots.
We'll get onto that anyway, but I just think the first period on Saturday was just we'd left our shooting sticks on the bus because we were fully in control of that game. I've seen some comments from some Dragons fans, and you have to, you always have your rose-tinted glasses on when it's your own team, and I get that. But I saw some strange comments about they dominated us for 40 minutes. I was thinking, were you watching the same game as me? Because that's not how it went at all. It wasn't characteristically us in the first period, but that was purely because we were just shooting at the keeper mostly and making him look good. But it was again never in doubt. I don't remember anybody looking at each other and going, "Oh, we might lose this." No, I didn't get that feeling at all. The players weren't exuding that feeling. The fans were, I think, too busy partying, to be honest. But it felt like as soon as we did find our shooting sticks, then it would be good night Deeside, because they weren't offering a great deal. And as usual, sorry Deeside, but your defence sucks. So I don't know. John can maybe explain it better than I can, but 2-0 at the end of the first, not really reflective of the play. It was more reflective of our inability to find the space past the keeper, and probably didn't move him about enough.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. I mean, statistically, you just knew it was going to be a matter of time when we started scoring goals. They weren't going to put in a perfect performance, so they wouldn't be conceding the 200 goals that they had. We weren't. I don't think we were getting the keeper moving. We were just playing in straight lines, playing it easy. If I want to say anything, we were just playing it really easy. And the moment we just want the third period, I don't even think we stepped it up that much. I think they gassed by putting so much into that first 2 period. And I think we kind of knew that's what they would do. They would come at us, try and put a show on for their own fans. We just held our lines, waited our time. They gassed, and the defense isn't that good to begin with. And a tired, terrible defense was only going to come one result. And once we got ourselves in front, there was no looking back.
Yeah. So Rowley started the comeback early in the first minute of the second period, and then Iain Brown tied it up late in the second to 2-2 after 2. And in the third period, we scored 2 goals in 8 seconds because that's just kind of what we do. Mikey and Iain making it 4-2. And then it was coasting in from there. A late power play goal from Callum Wilkinson and Mighty finishing it off 6-2 final. And the points back on the bus with all the trophies and the inflatables and the balloons and everything. But the points coming back north. Anything else from the game other than what you've said? Obviously, the Deeside had a fullish when we come to Sunday's game. We'll talk about the lineup, but they had a full lineup. A couple of the skater more than Billingham did. I mentioned for Tom Wakefield. I know Fuzzy was singing his praises in his post game, jumping into the lineup, but also jumping onto the blue line as well to cover from some absent Joes.
Yeah, and I don't think I think he might have found his true calling, being honest, because he looked like he should be back there. He was really solid, played the puck so well, comfortable,
so calm.
Absolutely, yeah,
So calm,
steady as a rock. He might have found his true calling, and I know he plays forward most of the time, but he might be another Joe Walls. He might have found his calling further back a bit. Let's say.
But yeah, so Tom jumping in the lineup, I say Jack was back up as well. So having the Wakefield brothers all weekend, good for them to get the ice together, which they don't normally do at senior level anyway. The shots, like you said, the official shots, John O. Billingham just had 10 shots in the third period and scored 4 goals. So we outshot 44-40. They outshot us in all in the first and the third, and we outshot them in the second.
No, we would definitely outshot them in the first as well. The only thing we didn't do was score.
Yeah.
And I think we had a special guest in the crowd who could probably confirm that as well.
Yes.
Special. Yeah. I was going to mention our new honorary Teesider if he's consumed his Palmo. Banners on the wall.
The Palmo review.
Yeah, and his beers. I got him a couple of Teeside brewed beers as well. So.
Yeah, Banners on the wall, who we've had on the show earlier in the season, was on a bit of a tour, and this is the furthest north he's ventured so far. But he did same as the fan bus. I'm guessing he penciled this in as a possible title decider. Obviously, we'd spoiled that by winning the week before. But Anthony Russell was part of the Big Red Machine on Saturday. Thoroughly enjoyed his Teeside experience and was rewarded, as John says, got some beers and got some cook at home Palmos. So
the Teeside treatment.
Verdict.
There were only Jeff the Chef Palmos, so not quite the Merlin experience, but they'll do.
We'll get him over here.
He was blown away by the menu of the ship at Red Marshall as well, with the 120 different versions of Palmo that they did, whatever it is. So I'm sure we'll get him further north next season if he's still traveling, depending on the bison situation as well.
He has been further north. To be fair, he went to Solway once, but I don't think that counts because it was when they were in national. So he's not been this far north in our level of hockey
for our division. But yeah, so a 6-2 result. I say a point in the bag, and the Big Red Machine keeps rolling on. And we move to Sunday, and the first home game since the Cup final, which is over 3 weeks. So back at the Forum Sunday, and as we said when we were talking to Chris and Iain, pretty much a full house. It was only the block behind where I stand had really any noticeable gaps, and there was a dozen or so Deeside fans. Maybe it wasn't a big travelling support, so they were all Billingham fans, and to have kind of filling the stands without a major travelling support for a Deeside game is fantastic. And they were royally rewarded. The goal scoring started in the first and never really stopped. 14 goals to 5 for your Billingham Stars. Reminiscent of results from 1992-93, perhaps. But yeah, so the goals were Conor McNulty, Lucas Dowdle, Ian Brown with 4, James Moss with 2, Sean Galloway, Chris Sykes, Roland Grittans with 2, and Darren Stattersfield with 2. Give it the Falcon, Pigeon, whatever.
Pigeon.
I I think he called it the Falcon, but yes, well, yeah. And he was robbed of a hat trick by a quick whistle as well. Another breakaway from him. But yeah, 5 goals from the Dragons. Jake Wachowski scored 2. Gary Simpson, Phillips, and Dickinson with a slap shot from the point. So they were the Deeside scorers. Shots on goal on Sunday. We scored 14 and won the game handsomely and were outshot 53 to 52.
Who does these counts? Really?
These are our goal judges, so we've got to trust these ones.
I'm gonna go with they just want Jacob to have fantastic stats by the end of the season, because that's nonsense. I'm sorry, but
so Jacob, another 90% plus save percentage. 26 minutes in penalties to the Stars as well, and 12 to the Dragons. There were more double minors for high sticking on Sunday night than I remember seeing in the last years. It just must have been one of those things. I mean, we're not going to spend the podcast talking about double minors for high sticking, but it was just a quirk of the evening, I'm sure.
Well, we did have a relatively new referee with bans on. But for older listeners, we said this, didn't we, Craig?
Yes.
He's not Tom Horner to us. He's Graham's son.
He's Graham's son. Yeah, for those of a certain age. Tom Horner. Obviously, I've seen him reffing for a while, but normally as a liner. But he took the armbands, and there were. Well, there's a double minor in the first couple of minutes. That was Sykes, and then there's a double minor there, and there's a double minor. So the 3 double minors for high sticking. But we're not going to talk about that. So 14 goals. Who wants to go first? In sequence. I've got the goal rules ready to go. It's over 10 minutes long. Just because. And who wants to start on Sunday's display?
I'll go. I'll just go. I just don't think this result was in doubt, to be honest. I think a few of us spoke about it on the bus, going, if that's them on their home ice giving it everything, the moment they're going to go 3 or 4 behind, it could become absolute car crash. And that's exactly what it was. And the lads had their fine sticks yesterday. Well, a lot of them had broken sticks yesterday. Yeah. Sunday, I think 6 sticks went down on Sunday. But yeah, goals battered out of the air, quick passing goals, top corners, big shots. Every goal you could imagine was scored. But yeah, that was clinical and the right manner to play a game when you've got big games still to come. Yeah.
I said I would mention when we talk about the Saturday game, Deeside had a full squad at home, but when it came to Sunday, they only had 12 plus 2. So it didn't travel in good numbers, but there was still a decent 12 that were there. But yeah, like you say, John, when we started scoring and just never stopped, and so from looking at the goals that I've cut so far, and I think I've messaged you as well, it's amazing how many of the goals start in our defensive zone, and like 10 seconds later, it's in the back of their net. Whether it's a face-off or it's just a play from behind our net, and it's bang, bang, bang. The counter attack and the breakout speed of the, and it's all lines. It's not just the one line. It's all of the lines. Is frightening. And like you say, when it clicks like that, yes, again, Iain had the 4 goals. Sykes had the 7 points, but Mossy had 2 goals. Rowley had 2 goals. Connor scored. Shuggy scored. Darren can't say that with a laugh. Darren Satterfield scored 2 from defence. There was points and goals right throughout the lineup, and everybody was chipping in as they've done from game 1 right through to now. Carol.
Well, yeah. I was going to mention it to the guys when they were on, and I thought, it's kind of their moment, but it must take the pressure off them as a unit, as a first line unit, when you know you've got goals coming from behind you, if you like, because. If all of the pressure, if you're on a team where effectively your first line is your only scoring line, that puts added pressure.
Solihull.
Yes, cough, cough, Solihull. But if that's the case, then that's added pressure, because if you're not clicking for whatever reason and you're not scoring, then you know there is nothing behind you that is going to save you. Whereas for Iain and Mikey and Chris, that's not the case, because we've got this phenomenal line behind with Connor, Mossy and Rowley that are scoring for fun. The third line's chipping in with loads of important goals as well. So it must take the pressure off them, because they know that, I don't think they haven't had an off night this season, by the way, but they know if they did, then almost certainly somebody's going to do it for them. So that must be quite something, because we've watched teams in the past where we've only had one line that scores, and it can be very frustrating. But that's just not the case. They're coming from all over the place, and now Darren Satterfield's turned into a power forward that scores. So there you go.
Yeah,
Rowley's got 34, and if you said your import forward got 34 goals,
4 goals, man. Just quietly going about his business. Nobody's, everybody stopped talking about Rowley, and it's dangerous to do that, because he is a phenomenally good player. Yeah. And because there's other people stealing the limelight, he's just quietly going about his business, scoring the goals, and they're all beautiful as well. Rowley doesn't score normal goals; they're all pretty.
Yeah, Mossy's got 19, Lucas 12, Connor's 13. And then there's the points from the back end as well, goals and assists from the D men. So it's a full team effort. And again, we spoke to Fozzie on Sunday. When I apologise to Carol because I didn't have my tripod, and she had a manual.
My arms are still hurting.
Carol held the camera, and Fozzie gave his longest interview of the season at over 90 minutes. It was like an Oscar acceptance speech. He was just thanking everybody.
It's like this.
But it was, and we said it's these individual things are happening within the team framework, and it's always the team. And the guys have said it tonight. The team's first, and then the individual stuff happens beneath what the team does. And it's just been, as I said, fun to watch, and long may it continue for the rest of the season. We mentioned Tom Wakefield on Saturday's game, mentioned for Jack on Sunday's game as well. Another 7 or 8 minutes in net, and unlucky not to get an assist on one of the goals, because he made a huge save from, I think it was from Jake Standstill, man.
Sorry, but that
was brutal, that, by the way.
That was a block play classic. Jack made a huge point blank save. And again, this is another one of those goals. 5 seconds later, Rowley was putting it in the net at the other end. And Jack, and Jack's again, he's been marked out by Fozzie a couple of times. Never missed a training session all season. He's always come to the games when he's needed, and he's just been part of that. I was going to talk to Jacob last week as well. He's been part of the goalie trio, not just a tandem, a goalie trio they've had this year, and he's played his part, and being on the ice at the end with his brother has almost been good for him. But Jack's certainly never let us down, whether it's training, games, whatever. Jack's been as much a part of this success as anybody.
Absolutely, and he didn't put a foot wrong on Sunday either. I think he had one scored on him, but don't think any of the other two would have stopped it. So all kudos to him, because he epitomises the spirit in the team, really.
That was Boston University 1, Northumbria University 0. That one. That was Jake with a top corner zinger. But
Sorry, but we've got to give Block B a shout out for Sunday, because they tortured Jake. Absolutely tortured him. There was some of the funniest chants I've heard all season on Sunday. That standstill one, I was crying. And then there was the one with the count. Do you remember they'd sing, "You've got the 5th best import in the league," and then they'd sing it again, and it was 6th, and then it was 7th, and by the time
it got to 11, I think,
or something, it was, honestly, they tortured him, absolutely tortured.
Yeah, I think their bench were in for a bit of a stick as well. Every time a pit whistle was going and Mike Clancy's arms were going up in the air, and they're like, "Your old player just tripped them up. What you're asking for?" They were relentless. I don't know. I've heard Mick say it before. Someone will just do something, it'll catch his eye, and that's it. That's his target, and he goes and he doesn't stop for 60 minutes. No wonder he runs down to the pub because he has to charge back up again for the next period.
Yeah,
but yeah, a great block who have great fun and help the atmosphere of the forum.
Yeah, no, it was good. Anything else on the 14-5? As I say, a couple more goals and we could add another touchdown game, but not 14-5. Phil Pearson, honorary Billog again, just
Honorary Billog,
because we mentioned that every time there's a former Billog around. He had 6 goals. He came in relief and still in 6 goals in 22 minutes. So we weren't very kind on the former Billog, but yeah. Yeah, if there's nothing else, we'll kind of leave it there, and we'll take a break and come back with the results from elsewhere. Anything else on the weekend as a whole before we move on?
No.
20 goals scored. What else can you say?
But they were proud of the team for scoring 5. The Deeside fans were proud of the team for scoring 5.
7, yeah.
Yeah, they never mentioned the 20 at the other end, but never mind. Then again, probably neither would we, to be fair. So
no, we might have glossed over that one as well.
We'll draw Vale there, and so just one game of the regular season remains. We'll talk about that later. But next, it will be the results and tables from around the division, and a quick peek down south as well. And we'll be back here on Starcast. Welcome back to Starcast, and after looking back on the Stars weekend, we'll look at the weekend as a whole across the NIHL North Division 1. 7 fixtures on the schedule, as you can see. Deeside Billingham we've talked about on Saturday, another Saturday home game at the Hillheads Ice Palace, and the Warriors beat the Widnes Wild by 3-1. And then Leeds Knights still trying to get over the line into that 8th playoff spot. They're going out at home to the Hull Jets 4-0. On Sunday, Sheffield Scimitars, it was 3-3 for a while. They made a bit of a game of it before the Solihull Barons pulled away 8-3 to the Barons at Ice Sheffield. Billingham Deeside we have talked about for a bit. Hull made it a 6-point weekend, 7-5 over the Widnes Wild. Blackburn upended the Warriors 7-1. So we've talked about the Billingham games. Any other games, Carol, from your perspective?
Widnes, I don't think are going to make this now. They came so close over the weekend as well. Those are 2 very, very close results. It's always going to be tough for them on the road. But yeah, I think even with Leeds losing, I think they've probably missed an opportunity there to get themselves back into playoff contention. I can't see them doing it in the last weekend. So those are the 2 results that I was looking at. We could go on about the Blackburn Warriors result, but I believe Warriors went with about 4 players, didn't they? Because of some stupid football game. So so that the fact that it was only 7-1 is quite surprising.
Yeah. See, I wasn't going to mention the football, but you did, so there you go.
Stupid football.
It wasn't stupid at all. not at this part of the northeast, it wasn't. Do you know anything from you?
The 2 results for me, the whole Jet ones, they're 2 quite good results, especially away at Leeds. To blank out Leeds away from home is quite impressive. I know Leeds are a young side, but they score goals anyway. But that puts them in contention now for catching Deeside in 4th. For my opinion, the playoff spots are pretty much all done now. And it's just mainly the battle between them 2 to get home ice advantage, which I believe is on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a look at the table then. So as you know, Billingham will face whoever finishes 8th. Blackburn and Nottingham is set, and they have already announced their fixtures, so that's getting sorted in good time for them. Solihull are definitely in third, but their opponent yet to be confirmed. Although the Warriors have Blackburn and who's the other one? Oh yes, Blackburn and Billingham. I was massively scouring. Oh, who did they play? Oh yes, that was
I mean, as last two games, then you want to improve your league position. The two teams you probably don't want are probably the one in first and the one in second.
And they need all 6 points to top Hull in fifth as well. So
yeah, and hope Hull lose.
So we'll mark that down as unlikely, shall we?
Not happening.
We've got the Solihull Barons and the Deeside Dragons. So again, which Dragons team plays on Sunday, we shall see. I say Lions set in 7th and then 8th. The Leeds Knights, they have 2 games left. So Leeds play the Nottingham Lions and Leeds play the Sheffield Scimitars. So witness just the one game, which is, we said, the Nottingham Lions. So Lions have got a big interest in who finishes in 8th spot. But Widnes would need to win a regulation win, and they're saying hope the Leeds don't get anything from Sheffield or Nottingham. So if the playoffs started today, to use that old trope, so it will be Billingham Leeds, Blackburn Nottingham, Solihull Whitley, and Deeside Hull. And then it's seeded through. So 1 versus 8 would play the winner of 4 versus 5. And 2-7 would play 3-6. So if you follow that through, there is a potential for some very tasty semi-finals.
Very tasty.
I've already picked.
We're only taking it one game at a time. We're adopting the Stephen Foster method, and we're not looking beyond this weekend.
Okay, another podcast might have already picked them.
But in another, we're looking one game at a time. But theoretically, on the 5th and 6th of April, there could be some very tasty semi-finals to look forward to in the playoffs. We did mention we'd have a look on the South Division as well. That is similarly coming to a head this coming weekend. And we're interested in the Championship from this point of view, as the league champion will face the Billingham Stars in Coventry on Easter Sunday. It's the Slough Jets in pole position. The Redhawks would need to win their 2 games and hope that Slough don't get any points from their final game. And I did have the information to hand and now I've lost it.
I think it's Cardiff Fire for Slough, is it?
Cardiff Fire. I think they both play Cardiff Fire, don't they?
Yeah, Streatham play them Saturday, Slough plays them Sunday, I believe.
We've got Solent as well, I think.
And then Streatham play Solent. Yeah, you're right. So Slough Jets in pole position. So we'll find out. That game is on Sunday. So we'll find out Sunday evening who wins the South Division and who will face the Billingham Stars in Coventry in the National Championship game on Easter Sunday. Well, that division's been a fair old battle as well from those 2 teams. It was a 3-horse race for a while with Chelmsford, but then they kind of dropped away a little bit. But it was the result last week, wasn't it? Invicta, or the week before, Invicta upsetting Streatham, which made it all put it into Slough's hands. And we'll see what happens on this weekend. But keep an interest on the South Division as things move on. Anything else on the South? Are we all happy just to follow from afar and see what happens?
Yeah, we'll see Slough in Coventry, I reckon.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't see beyond Slough. Sorry, I can't see them slipping up against Cardiff.
And their top 8 is all sorted in terms of 1 versus. Well, the top 8 are all qualified. The only space left to fill in is 1 and 2. So their quarterfinals will be Slough versus Cardiff, Streatham versus Swindon, Chelmsford versus Romford, and Solent Invicta. And again, same sort of seeding format through for their playoffs as well. So keep an eye on things from afar in the South Division. That's it for the look back. As we said, this one game remains in the league season for your Billingham Stars, and it is another Tees-Tyne derby. It is a Saturday night at the Forum Ice Arena. The Whitley Warriors coming to town. What would we like to say about Derby Day, the final Derby Day of the season. And as I said to guys, again, there's still some things on the table to aim for in terms of wins record, points record, and just keeping the momentum going. Really, the home record as well for the league season. There's plenty of things at stake. A dead rubber by any means it is not. It's a derby game after all. So, Carol, what are you looking for from Saturday night?
You're right when you say it's not a dead rubber, because you could never ever call a local derby a dead rubber. There's always something to play for, even if it's just local pride. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see a classic on Saturday, only on the basis that I don't think that the Warriors will travel with a full squad, because they haven't travelled with a full squad on a Saturday all season. And even though we're just down the road, they have got quite a few injuries, suspensions, etc. So I do believe we're going to see a short bench Warriors, which is actually quite sad. You want both teams at full strength if possible. Both teams will want to put on a show. It's the last game of the season. It's a local derby. Yes, there's bragging rights, but I don't believe we'll see a classic. I think it's going to be it's going to require a professional performance from the Stars, as we've seen all season.
Yeah.
And I don't expect anything other than a Stars win.
Yeah. And again, John, from talking to the guys who were on earlier, they're focused on doing the job on Sunday, and there's no reason why they wouldn't follow through on their aims.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of glad there's still a few things left on the table, such as like a wins record, because that is kind of a big deal, because people do look at tables of past and they'll know this team's a great team just by looking at that table, and we are a great team, and they deserve to be recognised for that. As for the game on Saturday, just more of the game on Sunday. As Carol said, I don't think we're going to see the best Warriors team that we'll ever see. I do believe that they might leave some in the tank for the Sunday game against Blackburn, because they'll want to put in a show on for the home fans. But yeah, a derby is still a derby, and 3 points is still at stake. And we'd never hear it if they cost us the wins record. Never hear the end of it. Just as much as they won that Mickey Mouse trophy, we'd never hear the end of it. Ever.
Didn't the Deeside team win that Mickey Mouse trophy one?
It was definitely called a Mickey Mouse trophy at the time. I seem to remember every Geordie in Christendom telling us that.
Anyway, save that for the football podcast. So what Warriors get the job done in the game, and then post game, a small matter of yes, you can bring your guest in, Carol.
I can touch it now because we won it.
There will be the presentation of the league championship trophy, suitably adorned with the ribbons and
the ribbons
paraphernalia. But yeah, so if you're coming along Saturday night, don't rush off at the end. We'll have our usual post game, and then the NIHL management. Are we getting the top man again coming down, Carol?
He's travelling. Yeah, he's putting the miles in.
Excellent. He's VFM is off the scale from the general manager. So presentation after our usual post game, man of the matches and such, and then we'll have the championship trophy, and then the usual 1 or 2 photos, I'm sure. So social media for those who have the account. I'm sorry, Carol, but mine's off. So notifications over the weekend through the roof again. But yeah, so that's after the game on Saturday. We'll have a look at the fixtures of the weekend, because there's the derby game, but as John says, most of the pairings are set, but maybe it's not the home advantage. Deeside Hull on Sunday is one of those games that could affect how things turn out. Warriors finish off at home to the Blackburn Hawks, but again, depending on numbers, that could be a non-event in terms of the result. Sheffield Leeds, obviously Leeds will be looking to try and get over the line eventually. For if they don't, and it's Widnes Nottingham, sorry. And then if that happens, then Leeds get a second chance on the Sunday against the Nottingham Lions. So for all the title is done, and most of the placings are done, it's not a dead weekend. There's still fixtures to look out for throughout the NIHL.
The packed weekend.
Full fixture, huge numbers of games for the last weekend. Obviously, there's teams like ourselves have only got one, but quite a few have got double headers this weekend. So plenty of games still to look out for. And we'd recommend outlets such as the Stick to the Pod podcast, who go through things in a lot more detail than we do on here. You can pay the advert later, Jono. That's fine. But big weekend, and we hope you can join us at the Forum Ice Arena on Saturday, 5:30 as usual. Doors open about an hour before, and get there in good time because it will be a full house. State of the teams, or otherwise, it will be a full house derby game. Usual performance from the fans in the stands, I am sure. So get down in good time. 5:30 face off, trophy presentation post game. Anything else on Saturday before we move to AOB?
Don't think so.
No. Sounds good. Right, we should leave that there. Finish off any other business. We trailed it at the top. We'll start with our save the date. So the presentation night for this season for your Billingham Stars will be at the Billingham Synthonia Club, Thursday the 24th of April from 7 p.m. 2-course carvery, all the team awards, shirt sponsors as usual. Trophies will be there as well. Currently there are 2 on the stage. We shall see what turns up by the time we get the 24th. Tickets from Alan Favell. I'm forgetting, yes. Talking about Mickey
We've
Mouse.
got our own Mickey Mouse trophy.
Talking about Mickey Mouse trophy. I'm forgetting the Christmas Cup, yes. So the silverware will be on display. We'll have the individual team awards, shirt sponsors, and if you see Alan at the game on Saturday, if we get in touch, we'll have the email address on our socials, I'm sure, in due course. But this is a save the date notice. Thursday the 24th of April, 7 p.m, smart dress, and we'll celebrate what's already been a good season, as Chris said. Hopefully a very good season, but we'll stop jinxing it then. We'll just say that. So save the date for the 24th of April. Jono, do you want to do your list?
Yeah, I think first of all, we'll mention Jacob being the Player of the Month. He won Player of the Month in February. Fantastic effort from him. Shows you the kind of season that we've had when Mark's netminder in January, Jacob takes it February. So great achievement by him, and thank you to all the supporters for voting. But then now I have the orders from the boss.
Yeah.
The so-called boss.
We just kick back and listen, Carol.
Yeah. So a big thank you to everyone who came to the table on Sunday and ordered your back-to-back T-shirts. Your back-to-back champions order is in. We hope to have them for the playoff weekend, as in the first quarterfinal, not the one in Steel City. So that'll be a couple of weeks. Cup pucks. What we didn't tell you is we had an order of 100. 80 arrived and sold them all before we had a chance to pretty much put them on the table. The other 20 should be with us this week, touch wood. So if you didn't get one, there's a few left. So please do come and get one. And also we do the mini jersey champions. We did Champions 24 one last year, and we've had a lot of people come to us ask for the Champions 25 one, something they want to collect. They've also been ordered and will be ready, I believe, again this weekend. So the team are working very, very fast. So do come and see us on Saturday and collect your bits and bobs and get a few more orders in for things that you want. Because there's only a few home games remaining. This Saturday being the last League One, so only a couple more after that, touch wood.
Yeah, very good. And if you didn't listen earlier on, why not? But we'll recommend you go back and listen to the chat we had with Pete from Crosscheck, who do the property of and the sockies and the back-to-backs, and do a huge range of their own merch as well. So Crosscheck, now officially big fans of the Billingham Stars, as they should be. if you missed it on Sunday, just before the anthem, give a shout out to Stuart Jackson, who rejoined the team on Sunday, having been away in Sweden with Great Britain's bandy team. They won a bronze medal in their World Championship division. They were unfortunate not to get further. They lost an overtime game to Germany. At least it wasn't a shootout to Germany. It was just an overtime game. So they played the bronze medal game and they won 13-1. And Stewie scored the all-important 13th goal. But great stuff from Stewie converting to bandy. And as we said last week, if you get a chance to look it up online, it is just a ridiculous sport. It is ice hockey, but on the size of a football pitch with a ball and giant goals, and it just looks like the biggest fun in the world. And the sticks are like curved above with a huge. Anyway, look it up online. But well done to Stu. Flew back in on Saturday and was back in the lineup on Sunday as well. So great effort to be back in the lineup from Stewie, and great to have him back. And congratulations on the medal. Any other business from you, Carol?
Just a big thank you to everybody who's been interacting with us on socials for the last month. I know I've been joking about notifications going wild, but it just shows how much we are getting ourselves out there. If I can just say that in the last month, I had to put together a stats pack for Alan a few days ago, and we got nearly 500,000 views of our Facebook page in the last month. 500,000. That's kind of a little bit mental. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Please continue to interact with us, share, comment, like, whatever it is, because it all helps. I'm still getting inquiries for people who've never seen the sport before, people wanting to come and watch, people giving us feedback when they have come to watch. So everything that people do to get our name out there really does help, even if it's just a like or a cheeky share. It really all does help, and especially this podcast, share widely. But yeah, 500,000. Just think about that for a second. 500,000 views in a month. Yeah. That is off the scale. Silly numbers.
Yeah, and a lot of that's the people like yourself. Well, it is yourself, who does our social media updates, be it games or in between games or whatever. Keeping the information coming out there. So a huge effort, and looks like it's being rewarded, which is fantastic to see. Long may it continue. Long may the notifications explode every weekend for the rest of the season.
My poor phone. Poor phone.
Put in Alan for a new one. I'm sure he'll just You get your Nokia 3310 on company expenses.
Oh, I could play Snake too. Sorry.
No, fantastic
for all the oldies out there.
Thank you to everybody who joins in with the social media. This podcast, if you're wherever you're watching it or listening to it, like and share and give us a review and a rating if you can do that. That would be fantastic. We'll kind of draw a veil there. It's nearly an hour and a half. We had a guest triple bill. I'll try and go easy on the guests next time. Just when all the invites come through at once, we can't say no.
Guest. Most important guest is here.
Yes, so we'll have a couple of silver guests as well. Yes.
Just on that, little congratulations to Finn and Dylan and Ethan here for Leeds winning the league. Some old Billingham boys there winning another league title with the Leeds Knights. So congratulations to them three.
Yeah. Well, 3 in a row for the Leeds Knights in the NIHL National. Yeah, very good, very well said. But we'll draw a veil there from this week's edition of Starcast. I say Saturday is the only game for your Billingham Stars. Forum Ice Arena 5:30 against the Whitley Warriors. Hope you can join us in good time for that one. I say with a trophy presentation thereafter. Playoff news as soon as we know who we're playing and when we're playing and how we're playing. Then Carol and the media team. That's Carol. We'll put the information out there. so you know when to come along to support your playoff quarterfinal. We'll get the information out ASAP. Save the date for the presentation night. Go and see Jono and the team on Saturday for your merchandise of all sorts, the sockies, the back-to-backs, the pucks, property of, anything else that you can get your hands on with a Billingham logo on. The club merch as well, give a good shout out as well. Club merch has been selling really well as well.
Yeah, club merch is just the it was more to make sure people had the kit they wanted for playoffs, because I believe they're nearly out of stock on a lot of stuff now. Yeah. So if you want an official merch, then you're going to have to go at the merch table, tables plural, on Saturday, and make sure you secure. I
think in summary, is Billingham is just a hot ticket, full stop.
Yes, merch galore.
Yeah, that is, Billingham is the place to be for your hockey stuff. Thanks to everybody for watching and listening. Thank you to our guests, for Pete from Crosscheck, from Chris Sykes, from Iain Brown. Thank you to Carol and Jono for their insights as always. We'll be back next week, but we'll see you at the Forum for Saturday's game against the Whitley Warriors. But for now, from Starcast, bye-bye.
Thank you for being part of this episode of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Remember to like and share this episode, send a review when you can, and follow us on social media for the very latest news and to find out when the next Starcast will drop.